Did you know that Daniel Radcliffe was nearly rejected because casting directors thought he looked too old at age 10, and that the entire Quidditch sequence required inventing a camera rig that had never been used in cinema before? Engineers built custom fiber optic wands because existing stage props created visible wires on film. And it gets weirder. Warner Brothers almost canceled production twice. The stone steps at Hogwarts broke Emma Watson's wrist during the first week of shooting, and the composer wrote the film's most iconic theme in 24 hours after the studio rejected his original score. Number 18. The Great Hall's floating candles in the first film were genuine candles hanging from wires rather than digital effects. Director Chris Columbus insisted on capturing authentic magic, so the special effects crew designed candle-shaped containers filled with oil and fitted with burning wicks. During production, however, flames repeatedly scorched through the suspension wires, sending candles plummeting and creating dangerous fire risks. The crew kept fire extinguishers stationed around the perimeter of the set during every Great Hall scene. Insurance costs for the candle system alone exceeded the budget for some of the film's digital effect. Beginning with the second film, the studio transitioned to computer-generated candles for safety purposes. That pursuit of authenticity nearly incinerated the entire set. Number 17. The film made 8 times its production budget and became the highest-grossing movie of 2001. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone earned $1 billion worldwide against a production budget of $125 million. Adjusted for inflation, that is over $1.8 billion in 2025. For context, the average fantasy blockbuster in 2001 cost about $90 million to produce. This was significantly more expensive than most. It also became the second film ever to gross more than $300 million domestically in a single calendar year during its initial theatrical run, a milestone achieved only by Star Wars Episode 1 2 years earlier. Chris Columbus was 43 years old when the film premiered. He had been trying to convince Warner Brothers to let him direct this movie for 2 years. Number 16. Steven Spielberg turned down the director's chair 3 times before Warner Brothers offered it to Chris Columbus. According to a 2001 interview Spielberg gave to Premiere Magazine, he met with J.K. Rowling in 1999 and discussed directing the first film as a fully animated feature using motion capture technology. Rowling rejected the idea, insisting the films be live action with British actors. Warner Brothers then approached Terry Gilliam, who passed because he felt the book was too conventional. M. Night Shyamalan was considered after The Sixth Sense but demanded creative control over the script. Columbus, who had directed Home Alone and Mrs. Doubtfire, was the 5th choice. He got the job in March 2000 after writing a detailed 30-page vision document explaining how he would adapt the book faithfully while creating a visual world that could sustain 7 sequels. Number 15. Daniel Radcliffe was nearly rejected during final casting because director Chris Columbus thought he looked too sad on camera. According to casting director Janet Hershenson in a 2011 interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Radcliffe auditioned in August 2000 and gave a technically perfect reading, but Columbus felt his natural expression was too melancholy for Harry's character. Producer David Heyman disagreed, arguing that Harry's underlying sadness was essential to the role. The studio tested Radcliffe opposite 3 other finalists in September 2000. According to production notes, Radcliffe screen tested for a total of 8 months, longer than any other actor in the franchise. The breakthrough came when Columbus watched Radcliffe improvise a scene where Harry first sees Hogwarts, and Radcliffe smiled genuinely for the first time on camera. He was 11 years old when he signed his contract in October 2000. Number 14. Warner Brothers nearly canceled production twice during pre-production, when construction costs exceeded initial estimates by $40 million. The original production budget submitted to the studio in early 2000 projected total costs at $85 million. By August 2000, after location scouting and set design, revised estimates reached $125 million, representing a 47% increase before filming began. According to a 2002 article in Variety, studio executives considered shutting down production and developing the property as a television miniseries instead. Alan Horn, then president of Warner Brothers, watched 5 minutes of pre-visualization showing the Quidditch pitch in Diagon Alley and immediately approved the budget increase. The film's final production cost of $125 million made it the most expensive children's film ever made at the time, surpassing even E.T. the Extraterrestrial adjusted for inflation. Number 13. The original screenplay was written by J.K. Rowling herself, and Warner Brothers paid her $1 million to throw it away. According to Bob Gale, who was brought in for rewrites in early 2000, Rowling delivered a 300-page screenplay that was essentially the book transcribed into script format with no cuts or cinematic adaptation. Warner Brothers paid her an additional $1 million to step back from screenwriting and grant approval authority to Steve Kloves, who ultimately wrote the shooting script. Rowling approved every cut except one. She insisted that the scene where Harry looks into the mirror of Arist and sees his dead parents remain in in the film exactly as written in the book. Number 12. The Great Hall's floating candles were real candles suspended on wires, and they set fire to the ceiling 4 times during production. According to special effects supervisor John Richardson in a 2002 interview with American Cinematographer, the crew suspended over 1,000 real candles from near-invisible wires attached to a rigging system 30 feet above the dining tables. During the first test shoot in October 2000, several candles tipped sideways and ignited the fabric ceiling panels. Production shut down for 3 days while crews rebuilt the ceiling with fire-resistant materials. The candles caused 3 additional small fires during the 6 weeks of Great Hall filming. The final insurance cost for the candle system exceeded $200,000. Number 11. Robbie Coltrane wore a 40-pound prosthetic bodysuit in 100-degree heat and required intravenous fluids between takes. Coltrane's Hagrid costume included a foam latex bodysuit, a motorized animatronic head for close-ups, and platform boots that added 8 inches to his height. According to the film's medical supervisor in a 2003 documentary, the suit trapped body heat and raised Coltrane's core temperature to dangerous levels during the first week of shooting in September 2000. Between takes, crew members used portable air conditioning units to cool the suit interior. On days when exterior temperatures exceeded 95 degrees Fahrenheit, Coltrane received IV fluids during lunch breaks to prevent dehydration. Coltrane later said in a 2009 interview with The Guardian that he lost 23 pounds during production despite wearing a fat suit designed to add apparent weight. Number 10. The Quidditch sequence required inventing a camera stabilization system that had never been used in cinema before, and it took Industrial Light and Magic 6 months to build. The production needed to film actors on broomsticks against green screen while simulating realistic flight physics and camera movement that matched computer-generated background plates. According to a 2002 article in Cinefex magazine, ILM engineers designed a custom motion control rig that combined a traditional camera crane with a computer-controlled gimbal system synchronized to pre-programmed flight paths. The entire system cost approximately $800,000 to design and build. ILM spent an additional $2.1 million on the Quidditch visual effects, which represented roughly 40% of the film's total effects budget. The same rig technology was later adapted for use in the Matrix sequels and Spider-Man 2. Number 9. John Williams composed the film's main theme, Hedwig's theme, in a single 24-hour session after the studio rejected his original score. According to a 2002 interview Williams gave to Film Score Monthly, he had spent 3 months writing a darker, more operatic main theme, emphasizing Harry's orphan backstory and the mystery of his parents' death. When he presented it to director Chris Columbus and producer David Heyman in August 2001, they felt it was too melancholy for a film aimed at children. Williams had less than a week before the final recording session with the London Symphony Orchestra. He returned to his hotel room and wrote Hedwig's theme between 6 p.m. on a Tuesday and 6 p.m. the following Wednesday, breaking only for sleep and meals. The theme became one of the most recognizable film motifs of the 21st century. Number 8. The stone steps leading to the grand staircase set broke Emma Watson's wrist during the first week of filming, and production continued shooting around her injury for 6 weeks. Watson was rehearsing a scene on September 29, 2000, when she tripped on the edge of a stone step and fell forward, fracturing her left wrist. Rather than delay the shooting schedule, the crew rewrote scenes to hide her injury. In several early Hogwarts sequences, Watson's left arm is deliberately positioned behind other actors or obscured by her robes. The stone steps that caused the injury were replaced with rubber replicas for all subsequent filming, adding an additional $75,000 to the set construction budget. Number 7. Alan Rickman was the only actor who knew Professor Snape's complete character arc before signing his contract, because J.K. Rowling told him the ending in private. According to a 2011 interview Rickman gave to HitFix, Rowling met with him in London in August 2000 before filming began and revealed that Snape had been in love with Harry's mother and was protecting Harry throughout the series. Rowling made Rickman promise not to tell Chris Columbus, the other actors, or even the screenwriter. The secret informed every choice Rickman made across all 8 films. Rickman was playing protection, while the script, the director, and the audience believed he was playing malice. Rowling later said Rickman was the only person on Earth besides her editor who knew the ending before Deathly Hallows was published. Number 6. The Sorting Hat's raspy voice was created entirely by accident when actor Leslie Phillips recorded his lines while recovering from throat surgery. Phillips, a 77-year-old British character actor, was hired in October 2000 to provide the Sorting Hat's voice. According to sound designer Randy Tom in a 2003 interview with Mix magazine, Phillips had undergone surgery to remove a benign growth from his vocal cords 3 weeks before the recording session. His voice had not fully healed and produced a natural rasp and crackle that the production team found perfect for an ancient magical hat. Phillips recorded all his lines in a single 3-hour session, whispering because loud speech caused pain. He was paid $50,000 $100,000 for 3 hours of whispering. Number 5, Daniel Radcliffe improvised the line,
I'm not going home. Not really.
during the Mirror of Erised scene, and Chris Columbus kept it in the final cut because it made the crew cry. The scripted line had Harry simply saying, "I know," in response to Dumbledore's warning about dwelling on the past. According to a 2016 oral history published in Entertainment Weekly, Radcliffe ad-libbed the longer response during the third take, and director of photography John Seal started crying behind the camera. Radcliffe said he had been thinking about his own parents and what it would feel like if he could never go home to them. Harris's gentle smile in response to Harry's line is a genuine reaction to an 11-year-old child expressing existential grief. The improvised moment became one of the most quoted exchanges in the entire franchise. Number 4, Richard Harris filmed his entire performance as Albus Dumbledore while battling Hodgkin's lymphoma and died 11 months after the film premiered. Harris was diagnosed with cancer in early 2000, before he was cast as Dumbledore. According to his agent in a 2002 interview with The Telegraph, Harris initially declined the role because he did not want to commit to a multi-film franchise while undergoing treatment. His 11-year-old granddaughter told him she would never speak to him again if he turned down the part. He filmed all his scenes between October and December 2000 while receiving treatment. Harris died on October 25th, 2002. He completed his scenes for Chamber of Secrets before his death, but never saw the finished film. Number 3, the visual effect of Harry's scar glowing was achieved by coating Daniel Radcliffe's forehead with a phosphorescent paint that caused a severe allergic reaction, requiring 3 days of hospitalization. According to the production's medical incident report filed in November 2000, the makeup department used a glow-in-the-dark paint containing a chemical compound that caused contact dermatitis on Radcliffe's skin. His forehead swelled and developed painful blisters 6 hours after application. Radcliffe was taken to a London hospital where doctors determined he had an acute allergic reaction to one of the paint's base ingredients. Production shut down for 3 days while Radcliffe recovered. Warner Brothers paid an undisclosed settlement to Radcliffe's parents. The incident led to new industry safety protocols requiring allergy testing for all actors before applying specialty makeup products. Number 2, the three-headed dog Fluffy was portrayed by 4 different Neapolitan Mastiffs, and one of them bit a trainer during filming, causing a permanent nerve injury. The production used 4 dogs named Bella, Hugo, Vito, and Monster to portray Fluffy in different scenes. During a November 2000 shoot, Hugo became startled by a fog machine and bit trainer David Shaw on the left hand, severing a nerve in his index finger. Shaw required surgery and lost partial mobility in the finger permanently. He later sued Warner Brothers and received a settlement reported by Variety to be approximately $400,000. Hugo was retired from film work and lived the rest of his life at an animal sanctuary in Northern California. Number 1, Maggie Smith filmed her entire role as Professor McGonagall while undergoing chemotherapy for breast cancer, and she told no one on set except Chris Columbus. Smith was diagnosed with breast cancer in early 2000 and began treatment in July of that year. According to a 2009 interview Smith gave to the Times of London, she specifically requested that the production not delay filming or recast her role. She wore a wig throughout production because chemotherapy caused complete hair loss. On days following treatment, she required a wheelchair between takes due to fatigue, but she insisted on walking under her own power once cameras rolled. She was 66 years old during filming. She survived the cancer and continued playing McGonagall through all 8 films. The child who improvised a line about never going home made his crew cry. The composer who wrote one of cinema's most beloved themes in a single sleepless night was nearly 70 years old. A throat surgery created the perfect voice for a magical hat, and the actress who embodied stern wisdom filmed every scene while fighting for her life, wearing a wig to hide what the treatment had taken. What surprised you most from this list? Was it the 40-pound prosthetic suit that nearly killed Robbie Coltrane, the improvised line about home that made a film crew cry, or the fact that Maggie Smith filmed every scene while secretly battling cancer? Drop a comment below. And if these kinds of behind-the-scenes secrets make you see classic films in a completely different light, make sure to subscribe so you do not miss any future deep dives into the movies that shaped your childhood. Thank you for watching.